Ananias and Sapphira dropped dead on the spot. Not from a heart attack, not from old age, they died because they lied to the early church about money. Today we're diving deep into preventing intellectual dishonesty using biblical principles, exploring what scripture, rabbinic teachings, Jesus' words, and even eschatological frameworks teach us about truth. By the end of this episode, you'll understand how to recognize intellectual dishonesty in yourself and others, and you'll have concrete biblical tools to maintain integrity even when it's costly.
So let's start with the foundation here. What exactly does the Bible say about dishonesty, and why does it matter so much?
The Bible is absolutely uncompromising on this. According to the page content, dishonesty is consistently portrayed as a sin with serious consequences. We're talking about the 10 Commandments here. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor from Exodus 20:16. This isn't just about courtroom testimony, it's about the foundation of community trust.
Right, and Proverbs really drives this home, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Proverbs 12:22 is crystal clear. Lying lips are detestable to the Lord, but those who deal faithfully are his delight. The page content shows this isn't just about avoiding punishment. God actually delights in truthfulness. It's about reflecting his character.
But that Ananias and Sapphira story from Acts 5, that's pretty intense. They weren't just telling white lies here.
Exactly. According to the page content, they lied about the proceeds from selling their property, trying to deceive the early church. And the consequence was immediate divine judgment. Both fell dead when confronted by Peter. It's a stark warning about the severity of lying to God and the community.
That's actually terrifying when you think about it. But it shows how seriously God takes truth, right?
It does. And the page content also mentions Jacob and Esau. Jacob's deception of his father Isaac led to years of estrangement and conflict between the brothers. Dishonesty doesn't just affect our relationship with God, it fractures human relationships and creates lasting discord.
So we're seeing both immediate and long-term consequences. What about the spiritual implications? Because this goes deeper than just social harmony, doesn't it?
Much deeper. Jesus identifies the devil as a liar and the father of lies in John 8:44. The page content shows that engaging in dishonest behavior literally aligns us with the adversary, distancing us from God's truth and righteousness.
Wow. So dishonesty isn't just a character flaw, it's actually aligning ourselves with evil?
That's exactly right. And Revelation 21:8 warns that all liars will have their place in the lake that burns with fire and sulfur. The page content indicates that persistent dishonesty can lead to eternal separation from God. This is about our spiritual well-being.
Okay, so we've established that Scripture takes dishonesty incredibly seriously. But let's talk about Jesus specifically. What did he teach about truthfulness?
Jesus revolutionized how we think about truth. The page content shows he established a profound standard for truthfulness, calling believers to let their yes be yes and their no be no. This was radical because it challenged the complex oath-making traditions of his time.
What do you mean by complex oath-making traditions?
According to the page content, religious leaders had developed complex oral traditions that let people swear by various things, like Jerusalem or the temple, in ways that technically avoided breaking an oath while still enabling dishonesty. It was manipulation of language that undermined genuine truthfulness.
So they found loopholes in truth-telling. That sounds familiar.
Exactly. And Jesus called for integrity that flows from the heart, not from legalistic loopholes. The page content emphasizes that this teaching calls for a life where a simple word is sufficient, eliminating the need for elaborate oaths or manipulative phrases.
I love that, integrity from the heart. But how does this connect to what we might call intellectual dishonesty today?
This is where it gets really relevant. The page content from Mark Biddle talks about how intellectual dishonesty in the church often creates a false dichotomy between faith and science. It's like we're divorcing our minds from our beliefs.
Wait, so intellectual dishonesty isn't just about lying, it's about compartmentalizing truth?
Exactly. According to the page content, this creates what Stephen Jay Gould called non-overlapping magisteria, two distinct realms where no communication can occur between faith and reason. The result is completely incompatible understandings of the world.
And that's actually damaging to Christian witness, isn't it?
Absolutely. The page content quotes Thomas K. Johnson saying, "We theologians disarmed God's people on the eve of the battle with exclusive secularism. When we embrace anti-intellectualism, we eliminate any possibility of speaking a common language with non-believers."
So intellectual dishonesty actually weakens our ability to share our faith effectively?
That's exactly right. The page content shows that disdain for empirical science subjects Christian ethics to charges that it's esoteric, blindly ideological, and anti-intellectual. Vibrant faith doesn't deny reason and experience.
This is fascinating. Now, I know we wanted to explore rabbinic teachings too. What wisdom do we find there about ethical reasoning?
The page content shows that rabbinic sources situate law in relation to exegesis and narrative. There's this intertwining of textual and literary forms with conceptual content. It's not just about rules, it's about understanding the deeper moral and intellectual framework.
So they're looking at both the letter and the spirit of the law?
Exactly. According to the page content, the domain of law overlaps with morality in several elements of halakha, including ritual practice, taxation and charity, relations between people, and responses to damages. It's comprehensive ethical reasoning.
And the responsa tradition, that's where rabbis apply these principles to real-life situations, right?
Yes. The page content describes responsa as answers and decisions written by rabbinic leaders in response to questions, demonstrating the application of Jewish law to actual cases. It's about taking timeless principles and applying them to contemporary ethical dilemmas.
That's really practical. Now, we also wanted to touch on Ellen G. White's insights. What does the page content tell us about her approach to truth and integrity?
The page content indicates that Ellen White was a co-founder of the Seventh-day Adventist Church and is considered among the 100 most significant Americans of all time by the Smithsonian. Her writings are available in 152 languages, showing their global impact on understanding spiritual truth.
And her work, The Desire of Ages, specifically focuses on Jesus, right?
According to the page content, yes. It presents Jesus as the one who can satisfy the deepest yearnings of the human heart, and she was shown in vision the crucifixion of Christ and the things he suffered. It's about presenting the love of God as revealed through his Son.
Now let's talk about the eschatological framework. How does our understanding of the end times connect to present moral responsibility?
This is crucial. The page content shows that eschatology profoundly influences Christian thought by framing humanity's ultimate destiny and shaping moral responsibility. Over 70% of Christians believe their actions bear eternal consequences.
So it's not just about the future, it's about how that future reality should shape our present choices?
Exactly. According to the page content, anticipating Christ's return and God's kingdom motivates believers to reflect divine values and purposes in everyday life. The prophecies serve a profound moral and ethical purpose, designed to transform how we live today.
And this creates urgency around truthfulness, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The page content emphasizes that eschatology highlights the urgency of living morally, prompting Christians to act with intention and integrity. Understanding Judgment Day accountability encourages believers to make choices that align with their faith.
So when we think about intellectual honesty, we're not just thinking about present relationships, we're thinking about eternal accountability?
That's exactly right. The page content shows that these teachings challenge believers to examine their lives in the light of eternity, encouraging a shift in focus from temporary worldly concerns to those of eternal significance.
This is really powerful stuff. But let's get practical. How do we actually apply these biblical principles to maintain intellectual integrity in our daily lives?
The page content emphasizes that truthfulness is not an abstract ideal, but a daily practice that shapes relationships. Even in seemingly trivial matters, integrity matters. It's about building a reputation for honesty that reflects Christ.
And it starts with the heart, doesn't it?
Yes. According to the page content, honesty begins in our hearts. What's in our hearts will ultimately come out in our words and actions. We must examine our own motives to ensure we're sincere in our dealings.
So it's about more than just not lying. It's about cultivating a heart that values truth?
Exactly. The page content shows that dishonesty creeps in when we let selfish desires overpower our commitment to truth. By nurturing a heart that values honesty, we can build trust with neighbors, friends, and family.
And this connects back to Jesus' teaching about transformation from within, right?
Absolutely. The page content emphasizes that integrity and trustworthiness arise from a changed heart motivated by love for God and neighbor. This new ethic distinguishes the Christian community and establishes its credibility in the world.
What about when we face pressure to compromise? Because let's be honest, sometimes truth is costly.
The page content acknowledges that maintaining truthfulness and integrity can be challenging in a world that often values expediency over honesty. Believers may face pressure to compromise their values for personal gain or acceptance.
But Scripture provides encouragement for those situations?
Yes. Psalm 25:21 declares, "May integrity and uprightness preserve me, because I wait for you," reminding believers of God's sustaining power. And Proverbs 28:20 promises that a faithful man will abound with blessings.
So there are actually long-term rewards for choosing truth over convenience.
According to the page content, yes. The Bible promises blessings for those who uphold truthfulness and integrity. It highlights the long-term rewards of living a life marked by these virtues, even when it's difficult in the moment.
And our credibility in sharing the gospel depends on our reputation for honesty, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The page content makes clear that if believers cannot be trusted in small matters, their credibility in sharing the gospel is compromised. Therefore, truthfulness is essential for authentic Christian witness.
This really ties everything together. We're not just talking about personal integrity, we're talking about the effectiveness of our witness to the world.
Exactly. And when we understand this eschatological framework, that our actions have eternal consequences, it transforms how we approach every conversation, every decision, every opportunity to choose truth over convenience.
So when you step back from all this, here's what really strikes me. Intellectual honesty isn't just an academic exercise or a nice character trait. According to Scripture, it's fundamental to our relationship with God, our witness to the world, and our eternal destiny.
That's beautifully put. And what we've seen is that this isn't just New Testament teaching, it runs through the entire biblical narrative, from the Ten Commandments through Jesus' revolutionary approach to truth, and into the eschatological framework that gives urgency to our choices.
The practical implications are huge too. Whether we're in academic settings, workplace discussions, or even casual conversations, we have this biblical framework for maintaining integrity even when it's costly.
And the rabbinic tradition shows us that this isn't about rigid rule following, it's about thoughtful application of timeless principles to contemporary situations. It's about developing the wisdom to navigate complex ethical terrain while maintaining our commitment to truth.
Here's what I want listeners to remember. The next time you're tempted to shade the truth, to create false dichotomies, or to compartmentalize your thinking, remember Ananias and Sapphira. Remember that Jesus called us to let our yes be yes and our no be no. Remember that our integrity isn't just about this moment, it's about eternity.
And remember that choosing truth over convenience isn't just about avoiding consequences, it's about aligning ourselves with the character of God, building credible witness, and participating in the ultimate victory of truth that Scripture promises.
Thanks for joining us on Copilot Podcasts. The next time someone challenges your faith with intellectual arguments, you won't just have answers, you'll have the integrity to engage honestly, knowing that truth itself is on your side.